If you want lovely food, cold drinks and crystal blue waters on your holiday in Turkey, think about going on a boat trip. Boat trips around the coast of Turkey are some of the best in the world, and none better than the coastline round here, the coast of Fethiye. Many of the boats here do daily trips, including lunch, visiting several bays and swimming and snorkeling, and the larger boats even go to the 12 islands here. The price of your ticket will usually reflect the quality of the food you're going to get on board, and it's usually between £20 and £30 a head. It's a good idea to look at the weather forecast and choose a good day before you book any boat trips with the companies. Or do what we do, come down to the promenade here where they leave from about 9:30, and then you can choose any boat that you fancy, depending on whether you want a quiet boat or a busy boat. If you're early getting to the promenade, get yourself a coffee or a breakfast at one of the locantas on the front, or buy yourself a simit from the simmitçi. And while you're there, take a look at the early morning catch from the local fishermen. Have a look at the other boat trips, like the boat trip to Goulet for the Sunday market. And you can even book yourself on a diving course with one of the pro diving boats. And if you're very lucky, you might just get a glimpse of a beautiful logger-headed turtle. They are often swimming around the boats in the bay. For me, the best part of the trip is when they switch the engines off and put the sails up, and no music, of course. Of course, you might be considering doing a few days on a boat or even a weekly tour, or hiring a boat just for you and your family privately. And there are so many companies and private boats doing just that. Most are Goulet boats, which are styled on the original sponge diving boats from years ago. On these weekly boat tours, you're looked after from morning till night, and all your food is cooked on board. You'll visit some of the most beautiful bays and sleep over in them. It's probably the most relaxing holiday you could possibly think of. So if I wanted to go yachting on a blue cruise, you do the blue cruises here?
Yes, we do. How to say? We do private charter and the cabin charter as well. So from here we have many itineraries, like all from Fethiye Olympos, Fethiye, Fethiye cool. Marmaris, and even all the coast, like Bodrum to
So they're all
Kemal.
blue cruises, you call them all blue cruises, and we get the prices and everything are all on your website?
You can book it on from our website as well, and
all
so all the details and the pricing, everything you can find out.
So let's have a look at one of your Goulets.
Okay, yeah, let's go.
So these are the Goulet boats that they go out on the blue cruises on, and originally they were styled on the old sponge diving boats made famous by Cevat Shakir Kabaatlı, or what he used to be known as the Halikarnos fisherman or Halikarnos balıkçı. And he used to do cruises with his family and friends, and that's what made them famous. And now the blue cruises are all over Turkey. Popular blue cruises from Fethiye include Marmaris, Kaş, Datça, Bodrum and Olympus, and all the lovely bays on the way.
This would be lovely if you had the boat to yourselves, you know, with your family. I'm not sure about sharing it with strangers.
It would be more expensive to have it all to yourself, wouldn't
Yes, I suppose it would. But
it? And this boat takes 16 people. It's got 8 full-size rooms.
And of course, with 16 people sharing, there may be a problem over the TV channel.
And the seating.
And the seating. It's first come, first served.
Especially if you're lying on it.
I'll put my towel down. I'll have a gin and tonic, please. It's a kitchen where they prepare all your meals.
Oh yeah. Kolay gelsin.
She's there.
Kolay gelsin.
Enough to frighten the life out of her.
And most of the Goulet boats have at least 6 or even 8 cabins on board.
All the cabins on this boat have ensuite. They're actually quite spacious and a nice place to come for a siesta in the afternoon. I think the jacuzzi's ready, so.
I've got to say, they really are beautiful boats. There are some really beautiful boats in Ege Marina. And you get a lot of millionaires coming in on their super yachts like this one, Sunrays, which is owned by one of the richest men in India. We've even had Bill Gates here. Because Fethiye is a proper port with customs, you can also get across to the Greek island of Rhodes from here. So I just went into the office to find out all the info about it from a guy called Alperen.
Rhodes ferry takes about 2 hours and it goes every day. Daily trip is 55 euros.
Yeah.
If you want to stay and come back another date, it's 65 euros.
And just one way?
One way is 40 euros.
And unfortunately, Turkish people do need a Schengen visa, even if it's just for a day trip. But if you're British, you don't need a visa. I mean, although we've come out of Europe, they still let us in for 90 days. And don't forget your passport. And something to note is they don't take a card on board, and they don't take sterling either. So I've had to bribe the cafe lady to give me a coffee. But they do take euro and Turkish lira. So on these catamarans, you're not actually allowed to go outside. And I went outside with the captain's permission just to do some quick filming. And it's so shaky, you can see why, because everybody would be falling overboard. And they've even got a chief engineer on board.
Yeah.
They go about 30 miles an hour, and they do get a bit rough at times. It's like being on a rough aeroplane, and you even get a proper boarding card just the same as you would on an aeroplane. And be aware that for quite a lot of the journey, you can't get a signal on your phone. So the trip over to Rhodes has taken about 2 hours. But then, of course, you've got to queue up at passport control. The island of Rhodes is a really interesting place. But if you're only here for a day return, you'll find plenty to see and do in the old town, which is only a 10-minute walk from the port. The old town is a bustling mix of shopping streets, restaurants, historical buildings and museums. And the streets are generally full of tourists. You're going to love this old town. If you can get past all the shops and enjoy the architecture, it really is beautiful. And I was surprised how many mosques there are here. And old Ottoman style buildings too. And when you finish walking around the streets, you can sit yourself down and have a local draft beer, €5. And of course, when you're in Greece, you have to enjoy a Greek salad, don't you? So I just had to get a Mr. Whippy, didn't I? I've got to say, it's not as nice as the Marash ice cream in Turkey. One thing I couldn't find here that I was looking for was the electric scooters for hire that are usually in the streets in Fethiye and other places in Turkey. They obviously haven't come here yet. Rhodes and the port of Piraeus is a really interesting place to visit. And you might want to stay more than one day. So all in all, for what it costs, it's a great day out. It's not that expensive over here in Rhodes either. And if you're thinking of staying for a few days or even travelling around Greece, it's a great place to actually disembark from, because you can get anywhere in Greece from here, especially the islands. The catamaran boat got back to Fethiye at about 6 o'clock, but it was later than 7 o'clock when we got through passport control. If you really love boats, you might find the Boatyard here really interesting, where they've got the facilities for pulling boats out of the water as well. Kolay gelsin. You can even have something to eat here. And you can see why they need to come out of the water sometimes. I could spend a whole day here watching them repairing boats. It's really fascinating. And if you're thinking to go to the lovely Chalish Beach, or from Chalish Beach to Fethiye, the taxi boat is just a pleasant 30-minute boat trip from the promenade, which runs from early morning until late evening.
Don't forget to like,
subscribe,
and hit the notification bell so you don't miss where we go next.
Thanks for watching.